Moment of truth. Let's see if I measured it correctly. All right, so we are tackling a very fun, I guess, project today. So this house, though it is great and it's probably all we need in size, it is slightly small and there's only 2 closets. So Wayne gets one and I get the other. They're not walk-in closets. It's kind of like your traditional open up the door and you have one bar to put all your clothes on. I'd say I have a lot of clothes, but I do have a decent amount and I want to optimize the space in this closet. This might not be ideal for everyone, but I'm really excited to utilize this closet space, hopefully a little bit better. I'm gonna give you a quick peek of what it looks like now. Don't judge. It is very messy. I didn't clean it up at all. Felt like I didn't have enough space, so I just threw stuff in there. It is what it is. This is the closet in all its glory. That is what's driving me absolutely crazy. So anyways, lots of stuff on the ground, goes here. But if you come in, it actually goes up a decent amount. So you have 2 shelves and then it goes back a decent amount. But like I was saying, like I can't tell what's all the way back here. And then if I want to grab it, I'm like, okay, trying to get it past everything. And then, you know, putting it back just seems tedious. And then this side also goes back a little bit further as well. But it's just hard to tell what's going on. I just think we could utilize this a lot better. First things first, clear out the closet. I'm sorry, did I say I don't have a lot of clothes? That was a lie. I definitely have a lot of clothes. So yeah, I did lie to you. Few things I used for this project was a Phillips screw, a drill bit, drywall screws, dowel holders, and a dowel. Second step, because first step was cleaning it out. Second step is removing this bar here. So it is a metal bar, and I think it goes all the way across. So there's a hole in this wood piece, and I think it just goes all the way through. So that's unfortunate because that means we'll probably have to cut through this metal pole in order to get it out of here. I have my trusty sidekick. Just kidding. I'm gonna have Wayne come in and cut it, not because I can't do it myself, because I can.
Boom! Drop the mic.
He needs a steady break. So he is on his break now, and we're gonna go ahead and saw through that metal pole, hopefully. This is heavy duty.
They use galvanized steel.
Look at that thing. Now the fun begins. This is where I start to add my new dowels. Right now I'm just trying to see where I want to place it, where I can still take the hanger off the dowel, as well as it's far enough forward that it fits in the corner and is not hitting the wall. And then I measured to see what length I needed to cut my dowel. Moment of truth. Let's see if I measured it correctly. That's exciting. Not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and use drywall anchors for the right side here because there is no stud for me to be able to drill into, whereas the left side was right into wood, so it's a little bit sturdier. So this side, going to use those drywall screws to make sure that it is nice and secure and is gonna hold up all my clothes. Now it's just a rinse and repeat process here. So what I'm doing is grabbing a jacket that I think the length I'm going to use for the top, and then another shirt for the bottom to make sure that it's not going to be dragging against the floor. So I want to make sure it's high enough so that everything will fit and not on the floor, obviously. One more to go. We're gonna go on this side. I'm just gonna do one because this is going to be for all of my long things. So like shirts, sweatshirts, stuff go behind you. And then back here will be like dresses, long coats, things like that. Just a little bit too long. That's okay. I would rather it be that and cut it down than, you know, the other, because then I'd have to go back to the hardware store. Only had to cut it twice, the last one. Exciting! What up? It's the next day. What I did was I went ahead and just hung all of my clothes that were on hangers already, just to make sure everything fits and we're good. However, I do have a few things that I still need to figure out what to do with. So one thing that I wanted to do was add a little bit of storage on the long item side, so the one where I just put the one bar. I don't get a lot of dresses, so I think I will be all right, and I'm not going to attach it, so I could move it if I need to. So I'm actually going to put it right next to where the dresses stop. So I'm gonna make a little cubby with some drawers. So that's one thing we're gonna do. The other thing is paint the little shoe rack that you see in there. It's currently white, but I figured if I'm going to use it as a shoe rack, I should probably paint it a different color so you don't see it get all gross from the bottoms of my shoes. And then if I do need more shoe storage, I might do another DIY shoe rack in there. But yeah, it sounds like a lot, but we're almost done. So let's see how this goes. You know the drill. First things first, going to measure my space so I can see how big I want to make those cubbies. Wayne has been doing some woodworking, and the person that he's doing woodworking with actually gave him a bunch of scraps. Go ahead and go through that to see if it has the pieces that I need. Okay, so first thing that I did is looked at our biggest scrap pieces, meaning tall wise. I did want to make it 28 inches tall, but I only had one piece that would have worked for that, so I had to cut it to the other size, which was 24.5. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that at 14 inches, which will give us approximately 12-inch cubbies. So it's gonna look very similar to what you get at like IKEA, just those cubbies, and then I'm gonna make little drawers. So right now I am just measuring for the sides. So this is going to be the height of the cubby making a line and then using the speed square to make sure I have this line all the way across. Since our saw does not go all the way through the wood, this will help me make it as straight as I can.
Look out, I've got cat-like speed and reflexes.
One thing I did find in the pile is a piece of, I think it's either plywood, I think it's plywood, but it has a nice little wood veneer on it, I think. And I think it would be really fun to have a stained top. So I'm gonna actually make this the top. It's big enough, I just have to trim off about 1 inch or have a little bit of a lip. So we're kind of gonna see, I'm gonna keep it the size it is for right now, and then we'll see if I can use this one. This is definitely not a tutorial, but right now I'm going to go ahead and add pocket holes so that I can attach the sides to the bottom and top, as well as add my shelves. You're going to find out a little later that it didn't totally work because the weight of the wood was a little bit too much and it cracked it. So I had to add some brackets later on, but for the most part, the pocket holes did work. It just needed some extra support in some areas. One done, one more to go. Now they give you an actual drill bit to use, screws that you use. And then the pamphlet says if my material is 3/4, then I'm going to use a 1 1/4 inch screw. The pocket hole kit that I had came with some screws. Okay, so I didn't show the pocket holes because I couldn't figure out the 90-degree clamps. Then I finally figured it out, and then I just wanted to test the pocket holes out since I haven't done them. I'm gonna add some pocket holes to this. This is a shelf. And then I'll show that. All right, since I'm making this on the fly, probably not the best idea, but I'm gonna go ahead and find center of this actual board. What I did here was use the speed square to make sure that my shelf was nice and flush to that so that it is pretty square with the sides and level. We had a fatality. I'm sure plenty of you were looking at this and being like, that's not gonna work. Well, you know what? It didn't. And it cracked right through the MDF. So this isn't ideal, but I have these laying around. They're little brackets, and I'm thinking I'm just going to attach them with these brackets. It's gonna make it harder for the drawers to slide in and out, which kind of stinks, but I think it's gonna be the sturdiest way to do it. All right, using the brackets seems to be helping a lot more. We only had 4, so I am going to be using the brackets that I took off of the closet, so you know, resourceful. Is this worth the struggle? No, probably not. You probably should just buy it at IKEA. It will probably be nicer and probably be cheaper. But since we had all of this wood here, we had scraps, I decided I would build it myself just to see if I could do it. This is definitely not a tutorial. I don't know what I'm doing. Last but not least for these cubbies is making the actual boxes for the inside, so the drawers. So I'm just cutting that, making sure they're the width that I need, which I think it was 12 inches, and making 4 pieces so I can make a box. And here I am just attaching the back of the cubby with our nail gun. Really bad at showing what I'm doing, mostly because I'm making it up as I go and I don't really know how to explain it. So right now I just primed the base, so like the cubby support, I guess, I don't know, the base. So I primed that. I'm working on making like this little accent detail on the front of the drawer, so it's like, it will look like this. And I'm using this tool. It's super helpful, and you can cut right through these little pieces, which is really nice. Alright, I don't have enough, so I'm gonna have to go back to the hardware store tomorrow and finish this off. Darn. Here's a closer look of that shoe rack that was already built into this closet. I'm just gonna go ahead and paint it a dark color. Went ahead and got a sample paint for this project because I didn't need a lot, and this is Bear in the color Graphic Charcoal. This is the first coat. I did end up doing 3 coats for this project. I went ahead and used the same exact color for the actual base fronts and the base of the cubby as well. Once it was all dry, I went ahead and removed the tape. A little bit of things here I can touch up, but it was so satisfying to take off that tape. Sadly, I don't remember where I got these knobs. I've had them for years, but I figured these would be perfect to add to this cubby. And this was the finished product of that cubby. Very excited about it. It definitely added storage for my pants and tank tops. I wanted to add a little bit more storage, so I did use those scrap pieces. So you can see here, it's not the full length, but that is okay. At least we are being resourceful with the scraps that we have. So I'm just adding a piece here for another shelf and adding a little piece of wood underneath it to help it, kind of like a bracket, to help it stay up. Now all I'm doing is attaching that to the wood piece so the shelf doesn't move. All right, so went ahead and installed the shelf on the other side as well. And as you can see, there's like this raw edge. Sometimes when you paint this, it's really hard to get it super smooth. So I was gonna try something I've never tried before, but I was thinking of putting a little bit of wood filler on there, sand it, then paint it, and see if it makes it just a little bit smoother. All right, another day, another closet project. So what I'm working on today, you saw me put these shelves up. I'm actually going to have to take them down so that I can paint them. One thing is I have a bunch of hats that I would like to have storage for or display, and I also have purses. So what I'm going to do is I had a little leftover of the dowel. I'm actually going to use the dowel for hooks here. Going to be making a few hooks for like hats and maybe some scarves. but I didn't have enough hooks for my purses. So I went ahead and bought this hook from Home Depot. I think it's like $5. The last step of it all is making my hat hooks. So here we are, cutting that dowel and adding it to a piece of wood so that we can have nice hooks for my hats. I have my 45-degree angle cut dowels. I'm going to drill a hole into the dowels, and then I'm going to measure my board that I'm adding them to, make sure that I put them equidistant. Then I'm going to drill a hole through all of them through the board. Then I attach the board to the closet wall. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's all celebrate that this is the last thing going up, and then we will get everything ready. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. So we have our coats and dresses side with our hats. We have the new cubby. We have the two sides where we can put our jackets and shirts. We have all of the great stuff with the hook for our purses. Just lovely. Can't wait to put all of my clothes and lovely things in it and see how it goes. Let's take a moment to remember what this closet was before. Messy, not very functional, dark. So again, lots of clothes, one bar to put all of your clothes on. You can't really walk into the closet. It was a lot, but it was fun to take on this project and make it more functional by adding a few key pieces in here. I'm very excited to have a nice closet now and no clothes on the floor. This is great. And here is the after. I did thrift that basket. I do want to get one more to make that more even, but I haven't found one yet. You can see that I can now stand in my closet, grab some clothes on this side,
Knock a shoe off.
have my shoes full. But yeah, so extra room definitely makes it a lot easier.